This is the Hot Take, the final segment of the podcast where usually I deep dive online to find out an interesting and controversial take regarding Dragon Ball. But this week, Ajoten, you've done that, which means I'm ready to get my day ruined, because that's what always happens when you pick one. So,
I
yeah,
do.
looking forward to it. I'm ready. Not prepared to be annoyed, but let's see how bad this goes. So, what is the hot take this week?
I reckon it'll annoy you. I think I've done all right this time. Yeah.
Ah,
So it's a little bit longer, but we'll
mhm.
see. We'll see. Hopefully it gets you. So Goku is better in Super than he was in Z. Everyone talks smack on Goku for being passive and how he doesn't ever want to kill, yet that was far more prevalent in Z than it was in Super. Okay.
Mhm.
And that Super is better than Z. I just never liked Z. I can't put my finger on it, but the stories felt flat and bland.
What Z stories fell flat and bland?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So the giant bug man on the loose. Gohan has to get angry to win. It's just a big bad guy wants to blow up a planet. I mean, Super isn't much better in terms of art creativity, but the arcs were much cooler and felt like I can relate to the characters more. While in Z, the characters just felt fake. Like they were just that. The characters felt stale. They only existed to push the plot forward. While with Super, we see people like Goku and Vegeta having lives outside of their training. Hell, even Krillin got better. And we watched him grow
Uh,
up.
I'm trying to piece together in my mind. The thing that threw me off the most was the in Super I can relate more to the characters. Excuse me? What? What do you mean you can relate more to the characters? What does that even mean? The anime characters who go fight space alien monsters all the time. What do you mean you can relate?
Think, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, because it's a hell of a take. I think what they're saying is they can relate because this person's saying that they get to see their life outside of training.
I mean, yeah, I understand that. And to be honest, yeah, I also like that. I like the fact that you get to see a bit more of them, not just constantly fighting or training. Good points there. But that's just. What am I arguing here? What am I trying to argue? Am I arguing the point that you
So
think
to sum
Super
it
is
up,
better than
we'll put it a
Z?
bit quicker. So basically, Goku's better in Soup than he's in C,
Okay.
because everyone talks smack about him for being passive and how he doesn't ever want to kill. Yeah, that was
Mm.
far more prevalent in Z than it is in Super.
Right, okay, let's focus in on that then. So, the main hot take I'm taking out this is Goku is a better character overall in Super than he is in Z.
Yeah, because everyone says he's stupid for letting the bad guys live. But to be honest, he's basically saying, well, he does that more in Z than he does in Super. He actually kills bad guys in Super.
Does he though?
He kills Frieza, I suppose, technically, but that's only because he turns back time and he knows he's going to do it.
Yeah. Um. Okay, but
He
also he
gets
kills
angry at
Boo.
Zamazu. He keeps trying to kill Zamazu, I suppose,
I mean,
technically.
he tried to kill Frieza. I mean, yes, he did help him out, but he tried to kill Frieza and Namek. He did kill Boo at the end of the Boo arc.
I don't
So,
think you can say he tried to kill Frieza. He didn't try to kill Frieza. He tried to save Frieza.
yeah.
He tried to. Let's look at it right. He let Raditz go. He saved Vegeta. He tried to save Frieza from himself. Yeah.
Hmm.
He gave Cell Senzu Bean. Um,
That was the worst one.
yeah. Boo. Yeah, that was the worst one by far. And Boo, he.
He didn't really do anything bad against Boo. He just did try and beat him. I guess
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
fair one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he did at the end. He did kill him at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
hmm.
so 4 out. What's that? 4 out of 5?
Yeah, but also, I guess you can argue in Super, he was fighting people like Hit, and he wanted to fight Toppo and Jiren constantly to just test their strength. Yes, Zamasu, you can argue, yeah, okay, he did go in for the kill. Same with Frieza. But again, you can also argue with Frieza in the Resurrection F arc. He was playing with them. That's why him and Vegeta were tagging in and out of the fight. Because it's like, oh, my turn now. Okay, there you go. Just messing around, taking it easy, as Goku does. He only
Yeah.
steps in because he knows what happens and he turns back time and thinks, okay, well, let's not let the planet explode. I'm just going to go, boop, you're dead now. And that's it. Um, yeah,
Beerus, I don't think you can count the whole Beerus thing because I don't
mm,
really think he had a choice. He
no.
didn't give up against Beerus. He tried to fight Beerus, so
And he
that's
wasn't trying to kill him. He knew he wasn't a bad guy, I guess.
he could. He just couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
Like he was weaker than him.
Mm.
Um, who was after Frieza? Was it Goku Black? It was Goku
Yeah,
Black.
Goku Black.
They didn't. They didn't stop fighting him. They
Mm.
constantly tried to beat him. So that's fair.
Yeah.
Who
And
was
then it
after?
was, it just went straight to Universal saga, I
Yeah,
guess, after a few filler episodes.
but he did trigger the Universe Saga. To be
He
fair,
did, which is a massive character flaw of Goku trying to be too nice and eager for a fight, which he put every universe at risk. Well, I mean, people argue that Zeno was going to blow up the planets anyway,
but
the
he did
universe
remind him
anyway.
of
Yeah, he did remind him of it. And yes, I guess Goku gave everyone a fighting chance. But also, he risked. I mean, yeah, because Zeno was going to do it all anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of on Goku still. I'm still taking Goku like it was his fault, sort of.
Yeah, but I mean, Zeno was going to do it anyway.
Hmm.
But Goku didn't intentionally go to give everybody a chance.
Hmm.
He just wanted to do a fight.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it gets confusing because everyone hates Goku in the Tournament of Power. Everyone sees Goku as the bad guy, which rightfully so, because their universe are at stake because of him. And people are
Yeah.
like, well, Zeno was going to do it anyway. Goku's not the bad guy. So why does everyone hate him then? Because his fault it's happening.
It's
Yeah,
like if
so
you forgot about it, technically you could argue, well, if he's forgot about it, he wasn't going to do it.
yeah,
So it's quite
exactly.
easily like he's a distracted child. He's a little child.
Yeah.
Child mentality. Like if he's forgot about it, there's no guarantee that he's going to remember to do it.
Mm.
I know he's. I think they said he was. I think he's very old. I know he's not a literal child, but he has a child's mentality. So there's no reason that he's technically going to remember to do it unless the Grand Priest or reminds him or whatever. So yeah, I think you can argue he is actually more passive in D, to be honest.
Yeah. But if it's just character, like,
But
which.
that's his passiveness.
Mm,
That doesn't make him a better character.
no.
That's just his dumbass passiveness.
Yeah. Which is still there in Super. So.
Yeah.
I think it's a tonal shift in the show. Super's
Yeah.
more comedic than Z, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There's more comedic tones. Um,
Well, I literally watched the first 3 episodes of Super yesterday. I was
right.
just sitting about and I just happened to watch the first 3 episodes. And like the first 2 episodes is like, or the first couple of episodes is you just see Goku farming and stuff like that, and you see Vegeta go to an amusement park with Trunks and Bulma. Yeah, it was just Vegeta at the amusement park, and he's just literally just relaxing with Bulma and Trunks and just happily getting on. And he's thinking about Goku training and how he wants to be doing that, but it's literally just a large amount of the episode is just that, and that just shows that it is a big tone shift.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show that literally it's a very, I think it's kind of setting up that it's a very different show.
Yeah. I think also you've got to take into account the time that the shows were created. Like Dragon Ball was created in the 90s, well, 80s, late 80s, and yeah, at the time the purpose of the show was a fighting anime, and that's what they did. There was a few comedic bits here and there, especially in OG Dragon Ball, but not so much with Z. But there was still bits and pieces here and there. Whereas with Super, the times have changed. There's different things that are funny now compared to then, that type of thing. Things you can joke about, things you can't, that type of thing. And this is written in like 20 13, 14, somewhere around there. That's when Super started being released, I think. Um, so yeah, it's been, a big time jump from the 90s, I guess, 20 plus years. And yeah, I can understand why this guy might prefer the character of Goku and Super. But also, they're two separate shows that are connected. It's a continuation, but times have changed. So you've got to make people slightly different because I think if they came back with Super, but it was like literally exactly the same as Z, uh, the art style can change, fair enough, but if the writing was exactly the same, I don't think it would have been as popular because that was a different time back then. People liked it well, they still like it now, but I don't know. I don't know if it would be so successful for new viewers, which was the whole point of Super, to get new viewers to Dragon Ball, younger kids, that type of thing. Because I think it would be harder to get younger kids invested in Z and the Z style of writing compared to a new, slightly more comedic version of Dragon Ball in Super.
Yeah, I think the comedy aspect is for younger viewers,
Mm.
whereas the characters and such are for the older viewers. It's a continuation for them.
Yeah.
Where, like, for people like us, it's continuing on the characters we loved from when we were younger. And obviously, the more comedic aspects, whilst we will obviously or may enjoy them, that's for obviously younger generations to then pick up on the characters, and then they'll go back and whilst they've enjoyed the fighting within Super, they can then go back, but they may miss that from Z because they've grown used to that, and they may not like the art styles of Super. That's why it may feel bland because the art styles are not nearly as they're not as bright or anything like that. Yeah, they may literally seem bland, and it's just like because that's just the art style. They're very different. It's very much the same for people who watch Z going back to OG. It's the exact same principle. It's why a lot of people who watch Z struggle to go back to and watch OG because it's such a different art style that it's like watching a different show.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same characters that we love and everything like that. And it's more of the same story, but the art style can take you out of the immersion because it's the exact same thing. And because everybody who's watched OG and watched the rest of it and says, oh, you're a fan of Dragon Ball, but you've not seen OG, I highly recommend, and you see the exact same thing, you say it, anybody who loves Dragon Ball and hasn't seen the original, your first statement is, watch it. Yeah. Yeah, it's what you always say, yeah. But people do struggle because of the art styles, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And it'll be the exact same for people who have seen Super who go back to Z because it is incredibly different. It feels like a different show to a lot of people.
I feel like this person who's wrote this take is probably a newer viewer. Someone who might have watched a few episodes of Z here and there, was familiar with the viewers, maybe played a few of the games, that type of thing, but never sat down and watched all of Z, but then watched all of Super when that was released, and then maybe went back and watched Z afterwards, eventually. Because overall, like this guy is saying that he kind of prefers the character of Goku in Super. It's just a continuation for me. I don't think you can compare. Goku's always been childlike. He's always been a bit immature. He's always been naive, and that didn't change in Super. It's just the writing of the show changed. His character, I can't name anything like any one characteristic that's changed with Goku. He's still the same.
No,
he hasn't.
Still giggly silly and everything like that all the time.
Yeah.
But then the fight starts
And he's serious.
And everything, and he locks up, and and when things get bad, he gets serious, and like we've seen him get serious when he begins to lose friends and everything like that. And we've seen angry Goku. We've seen the two Gokus we've seen is the angry Goku when he turns Super Saiyan, and the Goku that we've seen when he finds out Chi-Chi dies to Goku Black. They're the same Goku. Like, to me, a raging angry Goku who fights viciously and beats and seriously beats the crap out of his opponent.
Yeah.
Like because he goes strong and he goes serious. Like that's the same Goku to me. And they are and the Frieza saga and the Goku Black are two very different arcs.
Yeah.
But it's the same Goku to me.
Mhm.
So yeah, to me it is the same Goku, just in two very different tones.
No,
Um,
I completely agree. If this guy, if the take switched and said, I prefer Vegeta in Super than I do Z, then you can argue, because yes, Vegeta did have a bit of a character shift. He is more family focused, he is more, definitely more, I don't want to say silly, but,
Relax.
relax. Yeah, maybe relax is the wrong word. I don't exactly know the word I want to use here. But you see him in like the bingo episode, that type of thing, where he's dancing and stuff to make heroes happy. That's not a side of Vegeta you would ever see in Z.
He
You know?
softened slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fair enough. You can compare the two Vegeta characters, I guess. But Goku, like, this is the bit that kind of like, really? Like, out of everyone he could have picked, he picked Goku, who hasn't changed.
Mhm.
I don't get why he's soloed out Goku specifically, because Goku hasn't changed. He's the one who's changed the least.
He's the open book who's always been the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like he's the open book who's always been exactly the same.
Yeah.
Vegeta's been the closed one who's actually finally starting to open up, and we're starting to see more
Hmm.
of.
And that's character development. And yeah,
Yeah.
you can have a preference. You can prefer like nonchalant, kind of angry Vegeta all the time in Z, or you can prefer this bit more softer side of Vegeta who can still throw out witty lines here and there in Super as well. You can compare because they're different. But Goku's the same. That's what I don't understand about this take.
Yeah. And I
So
mean, but I mean, then leading into the fact that in general, seeing things like Z characters as well, like in the second part of the take, which is that the Z characters felt fake.
yeah, I don't get that. What does that even mean? What does it
Like,
mean? Fake.
like,
They're anime
like,
characters.
yeah, it's like you can't relate because they can relate to the super characters. So the Z characters just felt fake. Like
Hmm.
I'm assuming it means like they didn't have because they didn't have a life and stuff.
Yeah, like that's the only thing I can think of is the very few minimal filler episodes where you see Goku and Vegeta especially living a bit of a normal life. But there is still those few filler episodes in Z. There's not as many. Well, actually, maybe there is. To be honest, Z is
I'm thinking of stuff where I'm seeing Goku fishing and that, and when
yeah
he's going to see Chi Chi, and when they're like
driving
after they
episode,
turn Super Saiyan, like when they both turn Super Saiyan,
and they're
and
just chilling. Yeah.
yeah, and they go home to see Chi Chi, and she sees what's happened to Gohan's hair,
Hmm.
and she freaks out.
Yeah, the episode where Goku puts on a suit to go to Gohan's school, that type of thing. Like there is filler episodes where Goku acts like a human. Well, acts more normal, I guess. Um, but I think it's maybe just the fact that Z is like double the length of Super. It's got like double the amount of episodes, so they're spread out a bit more, and it's easy to remember the fights and the main story points. But it's longer, so of course, like it seems like there's more in Super because it's more compact.
Yeah, like they felt stale. They only exist to push the plot forward.
The normal moments, like the chilling moments in Z. Well, no, that's the opposite. It's filler. Like it's the
But
same in Super.
the characters in general felt stale and existed to push the plot forward. This is the take.
Well, no, because each arc, well, the three main arcs, Frieza, Cell, Boo, each character changes a hell of a lot. Vegeta,
One of
especially.
one of my favorite fillers, okay, of Dragon Ball, full stop,
Hmm,
is the Gohan teaching Videl Ki.
hmm,
I thought that was really interesting because it's actually us finding out where Ki comes from. It's
hmm.
not something we really see in Dragon Ball
Yeah.
at all.
Hmm,
Everyone just has it for the most part.
hmm.
Like, um, like I'm not sure how much you would have seen in in OG if you actually see it at all. I mean, obviously,
No,
no, you don't. You just
don't.
it kind of just goes from one step straight away to the other.
The
And
Kamehameha is kind of the only thing that you see, but even then, it's not something like that Gohan scene with Videl where it's taught. It's just like, this is how you do it. And then
yeah,
Goku just does it, and then that's it. You know, he isn't taught ki, he isn't taught how to control ki or anything like that. It's just something he can now do.
yeah, I didn't, because that's the thing. It's like, because I thought as much, because it's like all Goku does is he watches Master Roshi do the Kamehameha, and it's like, oh, this takes years and years to learn how to do it, and then he just does it, and it's like, really?
Yeah, because ki is also like the ability to fly as well, which is something that Goku doesn't learn. It's just all of a sudden he can do it, and even then, that's at the very, very end of Dragon Ball, OG Dragon Ball. You know, he's on the Nimbus the entire time. That's
Yeah,
how he flies. Because ki isn't really a thing. I don't think they've fully fleshed out what ki is. They had this beam blast, the Kamehameha, but I don't think they related that to ki at the time because
yeah.
ki is energy, and you know that's what they use for flying and all the beam techniques. But it's not fully fleshed out in OG Dragon Ball.
And then everybody already had it at the start of Z. Like you
Mm.
had beam cannons and everything that killed rabbits. Like everybody already had these very powerful moves,
Mm.
and and basically that was it. It was just then accepted, and it just massively escalated. You were already in the Freezer saga, and next thing you knew, and everything was just there.
Yeah.
We then knew nothing about it, and then Videl comes along, who blackmails into finding out, and we get a literal lesson into how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love that filler, because it almost doesn't feel like filler. It feels like a behind the scenes. Yeah, it feels like a behind the scenes look, which I like. So I think that's actually quite important. So I don't really know how you can say things like that are stale, because that's important to me.
No, I think I've got to just disagree with this take. It's not. We've had takes in the past where I've thought they were just complete trash. Like, no, you're completely wrong. But this is something where I can argue the points, but also it's like, I don't want to say it's a bad take. It's just like, it is what it is. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, you have your opinion, fine. I'm not even trying to change that at this point. It's just, you can think that Super is better and you can prefer the character of Goku and Super. That's your opinion. But to me, Goku hasn't changed. And, you know, you can say things are stale, but that's your opinion, you know? Unless you're pointing out proof for why, which this guy isn't. He's just saying, I prefer it because it's stale. But you're not saying why, so it's like, I can't argue it. That's just his opinion, so it is what it is.
Yeah. It just feels like the justifications for the take feel they lack any kind of evidence behind them. They're just kind of like, because I say so.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, it's not really.
Yeah, so it's hard to even just trash this take because it's an opinion. He isn't putting down points or proof or anything, so it's like, yeah, I can say whatever. You can keep that opinion, I'll keep my opinion, and we'll go our separate ways and never speak about it again.
Yeah. Well, I'll go along with that. I sincerely cannot agree with this take.
Yeah, but I think that's a good place to wrap up the podcast. We both disagree with this take. Well, I mean, yeah, we leave this take alone in the corner of the room.
Be gone.
Yeah.
Gone.